If you like the following content, please leave a tip at buymeacoffee.com/Whitley. Hello and welcome back to Technology Investment Investigations. It's been a whole year since we last took a deep dive into this company, and you know what they say, the world of tech evolves at lightning speed. Today we're revisiting an old friend, Aurora Cannabis. Let's see if the passage of time has helped reveal new opportunities for us to explore. So reacquaint yourself with Aurora Cannabis. This is a Canadian-based powerhouse in the global cannabis industry. It's been quite a year, with Aurora Cannabis continuing to make waves with their innovations in medical and recreational marijuana products. They even expanded their footprint internationally, increasing their prominence. And as for the market itself, well, it's more intriguing than ever. Over the past year, the global cannabis market has continued to grow, with a remarkable compound annual growth rate of around 20%. Changing regulations and a global shift in acceptance for cannabis products have created an environment ripe with potential. If we look at the technical side of things, Aurora Cannabis has stayed at the cutting edge. They've continued to invest in advanced technologies, including AI-powered cultivation systems. They've looked at genetic breeding advancements and inventive extraction methods. Their product range, from premium dried cannabis to top-tier extracts and derivatives, remain a testament of their commitment to quality and innovation. We see some of this action in their financials. The price range of the shares moves only a couple of cents in either direction, even if it is just a penny stock, and the market cap is around $250 million, which is what we expect for a small to medium-sized company. So there's no colossal risk at the moment with the company if you're investing now. If you invested during the boom itself, obviously you're going to be a bit disappointed. Let's delve now into the SWOT analysis, which is the strength of the company, the weaknesses of the company, the opportunities for the company, and the threats of the market to the company. So we haven't seen a lot of stress on the company with regards to the actual structure of the company itself. Obviously some of their farmland has been sold on so they can raise capital. Aurora Cannabis maintains a robust global presence and even more diversified product portfolio. This gives it a reinforced track record of innovation, I believe, which keeps it in good stead. They're well poised for growth as a company and as a market leader within the cannabis industry itself. Now, Motley Fool, as recently as September, was on the fence really regarding whether it's a decent company or not. They notified us that on September the 8th, Aurora Cannabis announced a move to reduce its debt and interest expense. The company said that it had repurchased $9 million worth of convertible debt between mid-August and early September, and it raised the money to do so by issuing 20 million new shares, being part of its goal to become cash-free positive by the end of the year. It's quite a good achievement given the state of the market as a whole, and a lot of shares for a lot of companies are undervalued, I think, having gone through the tech bubble from the COVID boom and bust events which took place, in which every single share price was through the roof. Cannabis market, the cannabis industry as a whole, most of those companies saw their stocks raise. If you go back and you look at the technical charts for it, you'll just see a huge spike around 2020 to 2021, and then everything just collapsed to its price that it is now. Aurora was no different from this, suffered from that. I think where it is at the moment, it's probably a reflection of where its price would be given the current economy, and I would expect the company to remain relatively stable, assuming nothing catastrophic happens, short of all-out World War III breaking out. Okay, so let's explore the weaknesses. While the journey has been promising, Aurora Cannabis still faces regulatory challenges, increased competition, and the need for substantial capital investment. This is something I pointed out last time. It is the capital investment, it is their ability to raise capital, use that capital and expand, that is holding them back from taking over the entire industry and becoming the prominent player that it probably deserves to be. Despite the fact that Aurora Cannabis is a brand name that is recognised now and is increasingly recognised as the standout in the entire industry, I know this because when I mention Aurora cannabis, it gets more reviews, it gets more likes, it gets more notice and pickups on any format that I do where I describe this than any of the other companies within the market. It is the one that is at the top. Probably only Tilray comes second to that, I would say. But it's still the ability to be able to produce cannabis at a decent cost to price ratio that is probably going to affect the company going on into the future. And with the costs of electricity and gas and all the other commodities that we needed to produce this plant, it's something that affects all farmers, cultivators, horticulturists, however you want to put it, across the entire market. That's where it's putting a strain, or I imagine it was putting a strain on the profits of the company. And we are seeing some of this in the values, but it's not as high as I would expect for other companies, and it does seem to be kind of going along quite nicely. So structurally, although there are weaknesses there, I think the company's doing quite well in mitigating that. So when it comes to opportunities, the opportunities of the market for this company, the expanding horizons of the global legalization present a substantial growth avenue. Aurora Cannabis's focus on medical and wellness offerings aligns with this burgeoning market. Now, there is a big market out there, but it is not as big probably as they think it is. And I think a little bit of that opportunity has waned since last year, where people are starting to look for cheap alternatives and less quicker, more accurate ways of making themselves better. We're seeing vaping being pushed back now, which is a parallel market, I'm going to go out on the limb and say. So there are opportunities for it to grow, but only in the same market it has in Canada and America, in similar markets elsewhere. I don't think it's going to branch out into bringing in people who would not normally look at cannabis as an option. I think the market has a certain fragmented size, which as long as it keeps the brand name up, should be able to tackle and grow into. It depends how much of the cannabis it can produce, control, refine and distribute. Finally, the threats. They must navigate evolving regulations, as all companies do. The supply chain disruptions that we've had over the past few years, as all companies do, and the perpetual risk of economic downturns. Caution's the key for this company, but it's doing fairly well. It's fairly stable from a if you compare it to a lot of the tech companies that we review on this channel, it's surprisingly stable. Most companies that you would think would be stable have quite a tough time. It's a nice bell curve on the way their charts look. You haven't got that to quite the same extent with this company, with Aurora Cannabis. So there is some stability in having it, and I think the threats to it mainly are going to come from regulation and a change in habits of the consumer base, and the type of consumers that are out there in the wider world, and whether they're actually going to kind of want to use cannabis as a whole. I don't think that's a perverse threat to the company itself. I think it would be to the market, and whether the market is going to be sustainable in the long term. So now, the moment of truth. Should you consider investing in Aurora Cannabis? Well, given their strength and the opportunities that befall them, it might be well worth a second look, just as we have today. However, the challenges still persist. There's still the challenge of whether cannabis is a acceptable drug going forward. Tobacco is being pushed back, alcohol is being pushed back. Most drugs and paraphernalia are seen as uncouth, let's say, unfashionable, and this is a bit of an old person's drug, so it's not really going to be out there forever, even as an extracted form. Whether it will become the new painkiller, whether it will become the new aspirin, whether it's going to become the new therapy for various things, and accepted as that, so that to the point where you're willing to give it to any member of your family if they were ill, or take it yourself if you're ill, or even in therapeutic forms, or for just entertainment. That's very far off on the horizon for that to totally become the norm, although it has increased generally over the past 4 or 5 decades to become something that we've all accepted, even for a drug that used to be accepted back in Victorian times, pre-Victorian times, ancient history. So I don't know, it's up to you. Do your research, see what you think of it. So we'll call that a dear wrap. Thanks for joining us today on Technology Investment Investigations. If you found this updated SWOT analysis informative, or if there's another tech company you'd like me to revisit, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to keep abreast of our latest investment investigations. Until our next update, happy investing. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you enjoyed my content, please support this channel by visiting buymeacoffee.com/Whitley, or scan the QR code to leave a tip.